He walked in, and I'm sitting back in the back. I'm sitting way back in the back, and I'm polishing my guitar. Because I'm thinking, man, I'm going to be on the Conan show. Mm-hmm. This baby's got to shine.
Yeah, of course.
And he walks up to me, and he looks down on me.
Compared to you, he's a giant.
Yeah, he's a giant.
Because you're Li'l Ed, and he's
I'm
giant
sitting
Conan.
on the tall table, and he's looking down on me, and he's going, I wonder where that Li'l Ed guy is at. I bet he's not going to even show up, you know. And I looked at him with this smirky smile, and I said to him, you know, I believe that Conan guy, he's not going to show up either. And we just burst out laughing with each other, and we just took it from there.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James Van Alstyne.
All right, it is Car Con Carne, the world's only food podcast recorded in a car. It is my Mazda 3. I'm James Van Alstyne, and in the front seat, sitting shotgun, a slide guitar monster, a Chicago blues treasure, Li'l Ed Williams.
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
Thanks for joining me for burgers and conversation.
Well, this is very interesting.
Your first car interview. You never forget your first car interview.
This is my first car interview. I'll never forget this.
Someone who's been playing blues in Chicago, making music for many decades now. This is your first opportunity to talk in a car.
Yes. Actually, I was looking for a limo.
Yeah, no. Nope. That's not.
You'd be in the back seat or something.
That's not me. No, sir. So I got us food from the Dogout in Bannockburn.
Okay.
You're a burger fan.
Yes.
See, besides the fact I love you and your music, one of the reasons I wanted you to do this show, I get the sense just from your music that you love food. You sing about food.
Well, yes, I do. Well, I cook for my family too. I barbecue in the summer, and sometimes I barbecue in the winter.
What do you like to do? Barbecue? Do you do like pork shoulder?
I do ribs and sausages and poke steaks and stuff like that. You know, usually I have a backyard full when I start barbecuing. My family.
The whole neighborhood, the family.
Yeah, I usually barbecue 16, 17 slabs.
Oh, you don't mess around. You do this for real.
Yeah.
So we can break out the food. You got a burger from the Dogout. I hope this food is good because the people who are in there, the people running the joint, super nice.
Okay.
Super friendly. So I want the food to be good.
Okay.
Are you a fry guy? I got you some fries.
Yeah, I like fries.
Hope they're still warm. If they're not,
okay.
Understand my...
That's all good.
My heart was in the right place. Mm-hmm. Cheeseburger, grilled onions, and ketchup.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
You must have been talking to my wife.
This is mine. This is the Polish.
Okay.
Right on. So,
I love Polishes, too.
So let's talk a little bit more about food.
Okay.
You're the guy who gave us chicken gravy and biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cold meatloaf.
Mm-hmm. I ain't seen my meatloaf.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You don't like going out for fast food? You can have prime steak at home.
Right.
And you got it covered. The way to Li'l Ed's heart clearly is his stomach.
Yeah. And Li'l Ed's home cooking.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
You've got a couple shows coming up. If you're listening to this podcast and you're listening in December-ish, you've got 2 shows at Blues, and then on a Friday night, Friday, January 20th, you're back opening up for Buddy at his place.
Right.
Those are always ridiculous shows.
Well, it gets a little crazy at that time because when Buddy's there, everything's got to be tight.
Mm-hmm.
And the fans is swarming in, and
they line up early.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. This Buddy does this every January. It is cold outside, and they're waiting early just to get close.
I know.
Although here's the secret: a lot of them don't know. It doesn't matter where you are in the house. Buddy will come to you.
Mm-hmm.
He walks the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is still the coolest thing. And now, of course, in the modern day, when Buddy does that, everyone has their cell phone out. It's just like a sea of like Samsung Galaxy and iPhones.
They do me the same way.
So everything has to be tight. I mean, is there anything different you plan for a more, I guess you'd call it a high-profile gig? Like, do you plan differently for a blues show than you do for a legend show?
No. I pretty much go to flow the way the crowd goes and the way the field is.
Mm-hmm.
I never plan for a show because if I plan for a show, I won't do nothing that I plan.
Well, that's the beauty of the blues, isn't it? You can take it in whatever direction feels right.
Right.
You're not restricted. You're not a big touring carnival act. It's the blues. This is as real as it gets, right?
Right. You just go in and play. And you read the people, you read your fans, because they'll let you know what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way I go about it. I used to try a song list and.
Oh, you don't even come up with a set list to work off of. You just.
No, I used to try that, and every time I tried it, I never did anything I put on it. So I'd start off doing the first song, and then I'd wind up just closing and just not even looking at it.
And your band, I mean, you've been playing with the Blues Imperials forever. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys are tight enough that you follow each other's lead, and they're good in whatever direction you want to go.
About 38 years now, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Most relationships don't last 5 years. And bands, as you know, bands can be tricky. Personalities, egos. You guys are basically family at this point.
Yep, we are family now. And you have to. One thing my uncle J.B. Huddle told me.
The great.
Years ago. That, first of all, I'll know it when I got the right numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do know this, when I do feel this in my heart, make sure I treat them right. And most of all, have a great understanding with them. And I didn't know what he meant when he first told me that.
Sure.
And I thought, understanding, what is that? What is he talking about? Well, I found out later on in the years, you have to listen to your band members. You have to actually listen to them. You get that little sense of ego when you realize that you're the boss and you're the man.
Yeah, it's your name that comes before the man.
Right. And you get a little sense of ego going there. And I didn't know that that's what he was saying to me. Watch your egoistics, because you can lose good members like that, And then I looked at a lot of some of the older guys that was around me at the time, around JB and them. They had that egoistic, but JB never had it.
Do you remember, as a much younger man, as a kid, going to see some of the legends who've long since passed? What are some of your memories of seeing these artists who built this foundation? Like say James Cotton or
in Muddy Waters. I have a highly respect for those guys, because I learned that they played from their heart, and they played with feeling and happiness. And even though they were grieving, a lot of those guys were grieving from the older days.
Yeah. Well, Muddy didn't have an easy life before he made it to Chicago. That was not a glamorous existence.
Right. And those guys, a lot of them come up singing in the fields.
Yeah.
So look at those
crazy
guys,
to think we're not that far removed from that? I mean, within the past 100 years.
Well, it's different though. It's modernized now. It's not, we don't have to be worried about what we hear from our ancestors getting hit with a whip and all that stuff. And, you look at pictures like Roots and you think to yourself, dang, man, I'm glad I wasn't back there.
For real. For real.
But in some sense, I think all musicians getting a whip every once in a while. Not just the blacks, the whites too. Because in this business, you have to be happy. You have to be sincere in what you do. Because if you don't, it'll backfire on you.
I completely agree with that.
Yes.
What do you think, Rolling Stones, as we're recording this last week, this is a band that built its foundation on the blues. The Rolling Stones would not exist without the blues.
Right.
They just went back to the blues, an album of Chicago blues covers. I've got to think that's helpful. The more high-profile people there are talking about singing, championing the blues, the better everything gets.
It brings the blues up a step. When those older guys were still hanging around, Muddy Waters and James Cotton, all those guys, John Lee Hooker, and those cats, the blues was like up. It was up because those cats made it there. They made it there, and then they slowly started to leaving us, and then the blues started dropping. When I first started this business, I could feel a club without even blinking an eye. But now,
What were the clubs back then? Was it checkerboard? Was it?
Well, when I got with Alligator. See, I played a lot of West Side clubs. I played Ponchiano's and Duke's show place. And when I first started that, it wasn't. I mean, there were a lot of people in there, but there wasn't a lot of big money involved until I got with Alligator.
Right.
Then I started to go in places like New York and Boston, Massachusetts, where JB had played a lot. See, I think Bruce knew that JB had a big following.
Bruce from Alligator.
Yeah, in Boston, Massachusetts, and that was a fun place for me because people remembered JB when I came to town. So that was a really good place. But even all the places that I played at, they were packed. You go to New York now, and you go in a place, and there might be 10 people in there.
That's the Li'l Ed Empty House tour.
Yeah, but now, when I first started in New York, I mean, we were doing clubs where people were standing outside waiting to get in.
So what needs to happen? And this is a question you can't have an answer to, but it's something that bugs me, especially here in Chicago. We talk about the blues. We give lip service to the blues. What needs to happen to bring it back to the days of, hey, Li'l Ed's playing here.
Well,
Fact.
You got a lot of different laws now. You got the smoking law. You got the drinking law. That stops a lot of reason people were going out there and they could have fun. When I was coming up, my uncles and stuff, if the police stopped them, they would just bring them home. And tell them, get your butt, they wouldn't say butt, but get in the house and don't come out until daylight, And we all know each other, Officer Jake and Officer John. And, those cats, they'd catch me out at 17 or 17 or 16, 17. They'd catch me out. If it was after curfew, they'd be like, "What are you doing? Get in here." And they would take me straight home.
Pulling you by the ear.
Right. And then, and they would always say to my aunt or my mom, "Oh, don't be too hard on him, they just want to be out for a little longer, And although my mom would still slap me upside the head when I got in the house, but, back then it was a sense of people stuck with each other. They stuck together. There wasn't the neighborhood stuck together. If you did something wrong, your neighbor would come tell your mom or or tell your uncle, and your uncle would go tell your mom. Everybody would tell everybody. So it'd be all across town what you did.
That's right.
And then here you got all these other relatives coming up going, "What is the matter with you?" You got 7, you got your uncle, you got your aunt, you got your mom, you got your grandma. Everybody's coming up saying, "Is you going crazy?" But, now it's totally different. They got a law. You can't spank your kids. You can't drink over the limit. You can't. No smoking no more. Because I remember when I'd go in bars, you couldn't see the stage.
Which creates a vibe. I don't smoke. I hate cigarette smoke, but I get it. Like the idea of a smoky blues club.
Yeah.
I mean, like Smokey almost has to go in front of Blues Club.
Right. It was the thing that people were having fun and they was drowning their sorrows and nobody cared about nothing. They was just there to have a good time. Yeah, I went to some of the shows with JB and we'd walk in the place and you couldn't see the stage for the smoke, you know. And then we'd help JB load up and set up his stuff. And after a while, JB would get up and start playing, and the people just went nuts. After that, they were falling out of the club. They wasn't walking out. They were literally rolling on the ground, you know.
They were practically liquid. Yeah.
Yeah, but they would have, even the ones that was mostly drunk, could get in their car and ride home. You know. And then they, people wouldn't have to worry about jumping up after the first set and running out the club to take a puff and then get back to the... It's a weird feeling when you got a crowd of people in the club and then you finish the first set and go, okay, we'll be right back. And all of a sudden the whole club gets up and go out.
Yeah.
And you're like, what did I do? What did I say? You know?
I thought we had something good going here.
Yeah.
We're not done.
So it's such a different world now, you know. It's such a different world. And then you got the youngsters, they trying to take it to a whole different level. You know, you got those semi-opera singers that start saying, and just keep it going and going and going. Well, you can't put that in the blues.
Nope.
You know.
Nope.
You know, there are a few lady blues singers that I noticed does that, and I think to myself, why? You know, Coco was a true lady blues singer. You know, she didn't do the echoey thing. She just played. She just sung.
Well, she had that big voice.
Well, she sung from her heart, and that's what a lot of the new blues singers, I think. And I hear a lot of singers, and I'm not down on them, but it's just so different.
Yeah.
You know.
So we're back on Conan last month. Conan O'Brien loves you. You have this long history together.
Me and Conan, we kicked it off the minute we met.
Because he's a guitar freak. If you could play the guitar well, he's your fan for life.
I was at Blues Bar on Halsted. That's where we did the first skid. And he walked in, and I'm sitting back in the back. I'm sitting way back in the back, and I'm polishing my guitar. Because I'm thinking, man, I want to be on the Conan show. Mm-hmm. This baby's got to shine.
Yeah, of course.
And he walks up to me, and he looks down on me.
Compared to you, he's a giant.
Yeah, he's a giant.
Because you're Li'l Ed, and he's
I'm
giant
sitting
Conan.
on the tall table, and he's looking down on me, and he's going, I wonder where that Li'l Ed guy is at. I bet he's not going to even show up, you know. And I looked at him with this smirky smile, and I said to him, you know, I believe that Conan guy, he's not going to show up either. And we just burst out laughing with each other, and we just took it from there. It was just
That's awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's so super cool. Going back to the Blues Imperials, talking about family.
Yeah.
We're recording this a couple weeks before the Christmas holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a Secret Santa exchange with the guys in the band? Do you have them over? Do you do a standing rib roast for the Blues Imperials?
I just give them a little bonus if I can, you know, or buy them a present. You know, we're so much like family now. Till, you know, we did the blues cruise, and me and my rhythm player and my wife and his wife, and we were all out, you know, going to get ready to play, and we was on the island, and he walks up and he hands me a package, my rhythm player, and I goes, what is this? And he goes, well, I was shopping around and I seen this and I thought about you. So it was a cross, because he know I love crosses. So he bought me that, which in turn, you know, I turned around, me and my wife was out on another island, and I seen a T-shirt. He says, I love my brother. And I bought that for him.
That's cool.
You know, and he's like, oh, you didn't have to do it. I'm like, well, you didn't have to get me cross, but you got it because you know I love that, you know. So it's family now. It used, when I first started playing with my guys, I thought, oh, man, you know, because I was listening to a lot of the West Siders. And it was like, oh, I'm the man, I'm the guy, you know, my guys better do what I say, and, you know, and I started to try to feel that attitude. I started thinking, man, yeah, these guys are right, I'm the guy, you know, but it ain't like that, you know. And then I started thinking about the JB thing, and I thought, well, he didn't say, I never heard JB said, well, you know, I'm the boss, you know.
Right.
You know, I remember years ago, me and Pookie, which is my baby brother, it's my bass player, James Young. We were over JB's house, and he was rehearsing. And I think it was Lee Jackson. Not Lee Jackson. Was that Lee Jackson? I think it was Lee Jackson. And Bombay Carter, and I forgot who. Was on drums. I can't remember the guy's name, but I know him. Anyway, they were sitting. Bombay and Lee, they were sitting talking because JB had just did this slide winder or slide slinger, one of them, and they were sitting in the living room. They had no idea that me and Pookie was JB's nephews.
Got it.
So they're sitting there.
No.
And they're talking. And, well, I don't know why the band has got to be called JB Hutto and the Hawks, you know. And they're sitting there talking to this. And, you know, me and Pookie's kind of like sitting there looking at them, you know. And they're sitting on this side of the living room. We're sitting over there. And we're kind of like sitting there looking at them. and then Lee Jackson said, what did you fellas come to? And we're like, well, JB is our uncle. And the eyes got
I'm
that big
sure.
because they're sitting there talking about JB.
Oh, my gosh.
And they knew we was going to tell him.
Of course.
And we went and told him. We did. And you know what he said? He said, well, God bless them. They'll figure it out one day. You know. And that's all he said.
What a mature way to look at that situation.
He didn't say nothing to them at all.
So meanwhile, those guys were probably sweating it for at least a couple weeks, waiting for the talk.
I'm pretty sure they was waiting for JB to say, okay, you guys are done.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. So
we're in Chicago. I can find some other guys.
Yeah. So I thought, man, he's not going to say anything to these guys.
Oh, man.
You know? But he didn't. And it wasn't because he was afraid to, or he thought, he was thinking that, you know, if I lose these guys, or, you know, I think it was just because the kindness that he had in his heart, you know. He was like, well, if that's what he thinks, that's okay. You know,
wow.
'Cause he let them, he let them leave, you know. He didn't fire nobody, he just let them leave. You know, he said, I guess he said, you know, if they wants to go, that's up to them.
Wow.
You know.
Let's talk a little bit about the new album, or the newish album,
Yeah.
The Big Sound of Li'l Ed and the Blues Imperials.
Okay.
Zero in on a couple songs. It's raining in Paris. Mm-hmm. Is this a story of touring woes?
Well, my wife wrote that song.
Oh, so woes about you being on the road?
No, we were over. Remember in Paris when they was having all that trouble over there?
Yeah.
We were there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we was like, where they was having the problems at was like right here, and we was like the next city over.
That's frightening.
It was scary. It was scary because when we got to the hotel, the people that had hired us, they kind of just dumped us in the hotel. It's like, okay, we'll be back at 6 o'clock tomorrow to pick you because we was off.
Stay there. Au revoir.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Don't go out, you know.
The room service is lovely. It's très magnifique.
Yeah. And And we kept looking at the news, and we kept seeing the fighting, and so that comes from my wife.
Interesting.
And I don't know how did she pick up those words, but when we got back home, she handed me the paper and said, "This is a song I wrote." And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. It's raining in Paris. But I didn't really think about that until she actually told me she got the idea from all the stuff that was happening over there at the time.
Well, it's a great song.
Yeah.
And going back to the idea that you love to barbecue and it brings all the neighbors to your yard, I like my hot sauce cold.
Yeah.
We learned that you do like your barbecue warm. Yeah,
I
do you go out for barbecue at all, or do you think I can do this better at home? I'm not going
Every
anywhere.
once in a while,
Do you have a place?
I go to Fridays.
To Friday, really? For barbecue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty good.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good barbecue there. I'm not fond of their sauce, but their barbecue is really good.
See, I think the key
It's
with
tender.
barbecue, the restaurant should never put the sauce on the meat first. You should add it.
No.
Because, well, if you don't like the sauce, it can ruin the meat.
Yeah, but you gotta make the sauce. See,
I agree. It's not that
I
hard.
make my own sauce.
Get the molasses, get the ketchup,
Yeah,
get
I
that
make
going.
my own sauce, and I always have different sauces. I have a peach sauce, peach
With the
barbecue
peach
sauce.
preserves, or do you?
Yeah, I use peach preserves. I use apple. I use cherries. Sometimes I mix a few of them together, and then make my sauce.
And I've made barbecue sauce a few times. And whenever I do, I'm standing over the stove.
Yeah.
And I keep testing it. And it's almost like I'm eating a soup. Like, before I can even serve it, I've probably had 10 spoonfuls of it.
You gotta test it, and when you get that certain taste, it's just right.
It's the best.
Then you know it's right.
And then you want to use it with everything. French fries, I'm going to dip them in the sauce. Got a ham sandwich, I'm going to use some barbecue sauce. Whatever you can find.
Yeah.
I'm done. Now, this sounds like the song on the new album that'll get everybody on the floor, even though they're already on the floor. Does this qualify as jump? Stylistically?
This is a jump. Yeah, this is a jump.
So explain what that is. Like
I'm
that
done?
style.
Oh, jump.
Yeah.
That's the old days. I got that idea about listening to Louis Jordan.
The great Louis Jordan.
Right. And I do listen to him a lot because I like all his stuff.
I could listen to Caledonia on repeat. Really.
I mean, I like all his stuff. And I was listening to his music one day, and I thought, man, should I sing one of his songs or should I try to make something close to that? And that's what I did with that.
I love that song. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the bigger point. Li'l Ed and the Blues Imperials are fun. Hey, I'm sure you've discussed this, ad nauseum, but the blues have a reputation of being dark and somber. And Li'l Ed brings the party.
Well, that's another thing that I wanted to do. Because every time I would say to my friends when I was younger, they said, let's go play some music, because there were musicians all around. Oh, excuse me. There were musicians all around in my neighborhood. But back then, it was the Temptations and the Shy-Lights and Johnny Taylor and I think Bobby Bland was somewhere around there. And I know B.B. King was in there. But people were shooting, the black neighborhood was shooting towards soul, Motown. And if you wasn't doing the Temptations out there doing the step and the shuffle, and you really wasn't hitting on nothing,
Right.
So there was a few around the neighborhood that actually would play a little blues every once in a while. And one guy was named Rico McFarlane. He's a guitar player too. I don't know if you heard about him, but he's out there now. And he was one of the top guitar players on the block. He could play anything, And he would call me. His brother named, they called him Lumpy. He was a drummer. The first drummer I ever seen besides Albert Collins' drummer with like 19 drums. He was the first one that I ever saw. He had all these cymbals and all these drums, and I thought, this guy's cool, man.
Did he have a gong?
I don't know if he had the gong
That would have been
cymbal.
impressive.
But I know he had all these cymbals and he had all these drums, and he would go down. He was drumming for his brother Rico, and we get down there, and first thing Rico would say, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do the shy lights, we're gonna do the temps," and Rico only knew 6, 7 songs. That's all he knew. So I'd go down there and play with him, and I would rehearse with him. Because he could get gigs for some reason or another, and I couldn't at the time. So he'd get these little gigs. He said, Ed, I want you to do rhythm for me. All I want you to do is just straight rhythm, nothing else. I said, okay, no problem. So he'd show me these little chords I had to play, And we get in the club, and he'd play his 7 songs, and he'd run out of songs. So he'd say, Ed, okay, why don't you play something? I'm going to go check something out.
That's right.
He was going to check and see if he could figure out some more songs, So I'd get up, and his brother Lumpy was crazy about me for some reason or another. I have no idea, but he loved the blues. So I'd get up, and my brother Pookie was with us too. And I'd look at Pookie and I said, well, you know what we're going to do? He said, yeah, we're going to do some blues. And I'd cut out with a Elmo James tune or something, and the people would go crazy.
Sure.
And Rico would come back. He'd run back in the back in the club, and he'd go, Ed, you're fired, man. He would fire me that same night.
That's unreal.
Now, I'd get ready. I never did pack up my stuff because you know why? I know he was gonna come back and get me.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, okay, well, I'm gonna wait out in the car. And when you get done, call me. And by the time I'd get out the door, he'd come on, man, come on back in. You know I need you.
That's so passive aggressive.
Yeah. So, but the thing it was every time I would say, okay, y'all, let's play some blues. When I'd be rehearsing with them, they, oh man, you're gonna play that crying music. We're gonna be crying, and ain't nobody gonna be feeling good. And then I'd start playing it, and Lumpy would join in with me and Pookie, and everybody would be dancing, So that's the way it was back then.
I love it. Another song on the new album, Whiskey Flavored Tears. Now here's a classic blues scenario: woman with a backdoor man. That's, I mean, other than a train. I mean, that's about as legendary a blues concept as you can find, is the backdoor man.
Yeah. Whiskey Flavored Tears are generated. My mother-in-law, before she passed, she woke up one morning. We all sitting in the kitchen eating breakfast. And she looked at me and she said, I dreamt that you wrote a song called Whiskey Flavored Tears.
How long ago was this?
This was... She's been gone now a few months now, almost a year, I think. No, not quite a year yet. But she said that every morning she would get up, she'd say, don't forget that song, Whiskey Flavored Tears.
Oh, that's great.
And I started to thinking about it, and I thought, man, that'd be a good song.
It's a great title.
So I started working on it, and before she passed, I had it already written.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I made the CD out, and I let her listen to it, and she said, "That's the one." That's the one.
That's a great story.
She said, "That's the one gonna win me a Grammy." I'm hoping.
I'm hoping too. How is that burger, by the way? You liking it?
Pretty good.
My Polish
Fries
was
are
delicious.
cold,
Yeah, I couldn't help that. There are icicles in your French fries. All right, looking back, Ed, if you could coach the little Ed who's just kind of making his way in the world, what advice would you give to the younger little Ed?
Well, I'd give him the same advice JB gave me. Number one, be kind to you. The first order is always be happy. Never be sad, because sadness will take your joy.
And you hit a low for a while too. I mean,
yeah, I did. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I had a little drug problem here for a while. When I first started to playing, things happen so fast when you first start. When you first get out into this business, things is good, and it happens really quickly. Because one thing about your fans, and I'm not blaming them, but one thing about your fans and your people, if they see you, if they enjoying what you do, and they can figure out a way to make you do it even stronger.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they'll introduce you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a story that's played itself out across every music genre.
Yeah. To tell you the truth. Oh, you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I eat quick. It's easier to interview that way.
To tell you the truth, I tell you what, I might eat some more of that burger when I take that in the house with me.
Excellent.
I was blessed because I had went down. I was pretty low, and I know I was blessed because God gave me a second chance of life. Because there was one point I looked in the mirror. I bet you I was weighing 98 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But that's okay, because sometimes we have to go through things in order to realize our blessings.
And you seem like you couldn't be happier at this stage of life.
Oh, no. You know what? I remember, I am a Christian man, and I don't read the Bible like most people do, and I don't study it like most people do, which I am. Me and my wife just found another church to go to, which is good because the one we were going to, they closed down.
Oh no!
But I learned that in my line of work, it's always good to have an angel on your shoulder.
I believe that's true.
Yeah. So now, in saying that, I asked my Savior for 3 things: a good wife, a home to live in, and sense to make my way through. And you see what I got. I'm not hungry.
You're doing all right.
And
it's good to be Li'l Ed.
It's good to have, we all want, everybody in some sense wants to be a millionaire or wish they had all the money in the world, but I never wish that. Because JB told me, he said, once you start this business, you ain't gonna get rich. He said, don't even think about it. He said, you gonna be able to support your family and live decently. And said, if you ain't satisfied with that, then you need to get out of this business.
For real.
Yeah.
All right, someone's coming towards us.
That's my brother now. And I'm happy. And what I would say to the younger Li'l Ed is be happy. Always have trust in God. Take care of your band members, because they're the ones that's going to pull you through. Be especially good to your fans, because they're the ones that put your bread on the table. Yeah.
Li'l Ed, you're a remarkable human being. Tremendous talent, guitar player. I'm going to drive a little bit here.
Okay.
Get out of the way.
Yeah, because I think
this is why I don't drive with the mic on the steering wheel.
Okay. That's good right there.
Yeah, right there. All right, so Blues in January, and then Buddy Guy's Legends. And you're always playing in town.
Yeah, I play in town a lot during the winter because I'm traveling. I'm going out of town. No, you good.
All right.
Yeah, he can make it. I go out of town in the summer so I can survive through
Right.
the winter.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm like a bear. I go out of town and work in the summer hard as I can work, and then I hibernate in the winter.
That sounds like the Chicago way. For real. Lil Ed, thank you.
Thank you for coming. And this is the best interview I ever had in a nice warm car, eating a good hamburger.
Right? This is how it should be done. That's what I'm telling
And
everybody.
it's nice and quiet and peaceful.
It's almost soundproof.
Well, you don't hear a lot of ruckus around, and
Yeah.
you don't hear a lot of people in the background talking. And I'm pretty sure you can pick up really easy in here.
Absolutely.
This is cool.